Hey everybody, Ben here for the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Special Teams Sunday. So we are looking every weekend now. We're going to have a look at one of the unofficial teams in Blood Bowl. So a lot of these are going to come from the FUMBBL Secret League, but there will be other leagues out there that we're going to have a look at the teams and things you can do. We're going to touch on some Dungeon Bowl teams eventually. We're going to touch on some mixed teams, and we're just going to have a good time seeing what else there is to Blood Bowl. So if you are a hardcore tournament player, this may not be for you, but if you like modeling, if you like converting miniatures, finding cool bits and creating really unique teams and playing games that you will not play very regularly at all, then this series is for you. And on today's episode, we are going to be looking at the Ethereal Team from the FUMBBL Secret League. So two things to mention. The first is that this team is on FUMBBL, and the Secret League is something you can go and join now and play. So if you watch this video, you like the look of this team, literally just go log on to FUMBBL and start playing with it. The second thing to mention, however, is that it is currently running the Blood Bowl 2016 rule set. So we try wherever possible to keep as current as we can with the rules in Blood Bowl, so we're focusing very heavily on Blood Bowl 2020. FUMBBL is using the old rules. This team here is using the old rules, so they don't have passing stats yet. However, those are being looked at. The rules for Blood Bowl 2020 for the Secret League are being looked at, and FUMBBL is being upgraded to play Blood Bowl 2020. So it's literally just a matter of months. So what we'll do is we'll look at the team as is for 2016, and then in the future we will probably go back and have a look at the passing stats and just have a look at some of these secret teams. But for now, we are going to look at this team as it is on FUMBBL in the Secret League. So let's have a look at the roster itself. So this team is made of three pretty unique positionals, very heavy in theme and really weird, really interesting. So the Spirit Hosts are the linemen of this roster. They're 60k and their agility 5, but they've got no hands. This is the ghost roster. The Ethereal Team is made of ghosts, and we've got some disturbing presence in places, we've got foul appearance everywhere, and the linemen have no hands. So it's a really challenging roster because the majority of your team can't even maneuver the ball, but they've got some serious advantages in the fact that they're Ag 5, they are titchy, which means they're going wherever they want on a 2+ most of the time. So you can't stop most of this team. But most of the team can't actually score touchdowns. It means they've got an insanely strong defense, but it means their offense they've got to work at, which brings that dichotomy and a really unique challenge to Blood Bowl that no other team does. They've got up to 4 Wraiths at 110k apiece. Now these pieces are kind of like the blitzers of the team. They have hands, they're Ag 3, and they've got stab. And the cool thing about this is that the Wraiths represent, death's touch. So they're saying that actually they touch a player and they die. We've all seen Bill and Ted's, excellent adventure where they, death, touch, goodbye. The Wraiths have that power. And then you've got Banshees. Now Banshees are sweet because they're Ag 4. They're basically slan catchers. Very long legs, leap, Ag 4, strength 2, movement 7. They are fast and agile, but they are few. So the maximum amount of players that can actually move the ball on this team is 6, and they are very expensive. The Wraiths can have that free stab, they're good strength. The Banshees have got great agility. The Spirit Hosts have got insane agility, but can't do anything with it. And first up, we've got the Spirit Host, so let's have a real good look. So 0 to 16, because of the lineman positional, 60k apiece, movement 6, strength 3, Ag 5. There we go. No passing stat at the moment. I imagine they won't get a passing stat. And armor 7. But they've got foul appearance, no hands, titchy, and regenerate. So titchy basically means they're dodging everywhere forever on a 2+. That's pretty awesome. Their armor 7, so they are easy to remove, but regeneration is going to keep them kind of coming back. Foul appearance, though, is a skill that everybody forgets. It is underrated. It is probably one of the most underrated skills in the game. Every time the opponent wants to block you, they've got to roll a 2+. Sounds easy, right? But if your whole team has foul appearance, that is a load of blocks your opponent's not going to be able to make. So these linemen have got that Ag 5 titchy, so they can position wherever the heck they want. And some of the time, your opponent is not going to be able to do anything about it. The strength here with these guys is that they can go wherever they want. The weaknesses are obviously they've got no hands, so they can't do stuff, and because they've got touchy, they're not going to incur -1 modifiers when moving through their tackle zones. They're going to force those rolls, but titchy means that they don't have additional modifiers, so it's going to be easier for your opponents to dodge through your ghosts, but they still have to dodge. Next up, we've got the Wraiths. So this team can take up to 4 of these players, and like I said, they've got Death's Touch. So they're your kind of your blitzers. They're 110k, movement 6, strength 3, agility 3, and armor 8. So in the new world, I imagine that'll stay very similar. They probably won't have much of a passing stat. I'm thinking probably 5+ passing with Ag 3+. They're pretty serviceable. They're kind of like human linemen stats-wise. No combat skills here, but foul appearance, which we've discussed, is going to protect them. They also have disturbing presence. So if your opponent is planning on doing any ball stuff at all, they're going to incur additional penalties for the Wraiths. So they have a real presence on the board. Makes sense because there are a bunch of deaths rolling around. They've got leap. They've got very long legs. We'll come to the other bits more later. So they've got leap and very long legs. How FUMBBL goes with this is going to be interesting in Blood Bowl 2020, but at the moment they're bouncing around on a 3+. So they can bamf from 1 square to 2 squares away in a single 3+ die roll. Obviously leap is a bit risky. This team is kind of like Slan in regard to you can leap but you really shouldn't. But what it means with this is because they've also got the stab skill that basically no one is ever safe. In the Blood Bowl 2016 rule set anyway, where leap is unmodified by tackle zones, you can literally 3+ bamf next to the ball carrier and stab them immediately. That's fantastic odds. Blood Bowl 2020, it's going to be a bit harder. If they've got leap and very long legs, it means that they are going to be doing it on a much worse die roll. If they go with pogo stick, actually, then this team's got a real solid strategy. Regenerate is just going to keep them alive and coming back for more, because the thing is, with stabbing players, you're going to end up next to players, and the more players you end up next to, the more chance you're going to get splatted in the face. So the Wraiths here are really interesting players, but again, no combat skills, so you do want to use them as your blitzers. You don't always necessarily want to be stabbing, but actually stab, it can be really beneficial. Block dodge means nothing if you're just rolling against their armor. And the last position on the team is the Banshee. So, nope. 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 And the last positional on the team is the Banshee. So Banshees are 0 to 2, and they are kind of your star ball carrier here. So they are 100k apiece, movement 7, strength 2, ag 4, armor 7. So they are vulnerable. They are weak. They are vulnerable, but they are reasonably fast and pretty agile. Foul appearance, however, is going to protect them more often than not. That's not fair. It's going to protect them less often than more, but that's okay. The whole idea here is the Banshees are also terrifying creatures. So when your opponent goes to block them, they are going to have to roll that foul appearance to try and get through. It is going to save your Banshee more. It's just going to save it more often than you think is probably what I was looking for to say. So foul appearance, they've also got leap and very long legs. Now with Ag 4 in 2016 rules, that is a 2+ leap anywhere, 2 squares, fantastic, everybody has a great time. That is a terrifying prospect. High Ag, high movement, grab the ball, bamf, night crawler style, appear 2 squares away, and you are in the end zone. This team has got a lot of high mobility and high agility. They've also got hypnotic gaze here, which makes sense, which represents the piercing scream of the Banshee, which I think is really thematic and actually pretty cool. And the cool thing about that is you've got Ag 4, so it's going to be, what, a 3+ roll to pull that off? Not always going to be useful, but sometimes taking the edge off a cage to allow your Wraith to swoop in and stab the ball carrier, or just blitz the ball carrier, because they're not bad at just punching stuff, is going to be fantastic. So the Banshees are kind of multi-tack. They're your star ball carriers, they're the star ball retrievers, and every now and again they're going to take the edge off a cage so that you can go and punch the ball carrier out. So let's have a look at running these guys in a league. Okay, so we're going to look at a TV 1000 build, or this one comes in at 990, so 990,000. Yeah, so basically if you're looking to start a league, no, bugger. So let's have a look at what you can fit into a team if you're running these guys in League. Now, FUMBBL is just an eternal league at the moment. So if you want to run and jam some Ethereal Team games, you can just log on to the Secret League and create a team, which will be 1,000. Standard league rules apply. You go through the league just like you would a normal game. It's awesome. Cannot recommend it enough. We've also run many tournaments, including tabletop tournaments, where you can take the Ethereal Team. Now, they get better at higher team value because their positionals are so expensive, and positionals are so important because they've got hands, so they can do stuff. So this roster here kind of gives you a mix of the team. So 990,000, this one comes in, so you've got 10k over. You can treat yourself with a assistant coach or something. 7 spirit hosts, 2 wraiths, 2 banshees, 3 rerolls. So one thing we haven't touched on so far with this team is rerolls. Now, their rerolls are 50k, which is cheap, which is really cheap. I had to go and double check. Now, the cool thing about that is that you get a chance to pull those leaps off. The downside is because you've only got 4 players with agility, essentially, for when it comes to ball handling. You're going to need those rerolls to control the ball, get away with risky leaps, and keep you alive while blocking, because nobody here has any combat skills. Now, you can use stab to mitigate that. What's the odds of a 1-die block? 33% versus stabbing someone with armor 9+. It's probably similar, actually. So you've always got that in mind, where you can go for a stab with the wraith, and it will probably be about as effective as blocking them if they've got low armor. So you've got that element there, but otherwise you've got no block, you've got no dodge, you've got no wrestle, you've got nothing to fight with, and no integral rerolls in your team. So skills wise, there's a couple of really cool things you can do. The spirit hosts wrestle on these guys, or dodge. Wrestle is awesome. Okay, they can walk into anywhere. They've got Titchy, they've got Edge 5, they can just wander through your opponent's lines. And if you've got wrestle on these guys, they are just going to be really effective at just walking in and pulling somebody down. Now, dodge is going to mean that actually they are going to be more effective, because everybody knows dodge on a 2+, you're going to roll a 1. If you've got integral dodge, you've got that reroll. Guard on a double for the spirit hosts, whether it's a double skill in 2016 or a secondary skill in 2020, guard is going to be fantastic, because they can position themselves anywhere on a 2+. Walk in, give that assist, another spirit host has wrestle, they pull the ball down, they've got no hands, they can't end up with it, which is fantastic, as in the guarding one or anyone next door can't. Ball's going to bounce out, you've got wraiths, you've got banshees. Banshees can swoop in and grab that ball. So the spirit hosts start as chaff, and they just kind of can go anywhere and die anywhere. But actually, cheeky bit of dodge, cheeky bit of wrestle, because they get general and agility or normal skills. They are going to start being a serious force to reckon with. Now, the wraiths are pretty cool as well. So you've got that kind of classic assassin feel about them. Don't worry about it. Block is the best skill on these wraiths. I know you want to stab stuff, but actually your opponent is not going to always get stabbed and they're going to punch you back. Block is going to keep you standing, and actually there's going to be some times where if you've got a cheeky bit of guard on your team, 2-die block is going to be better than trying to stab somebody. So actually block is going to keep you alive. They've got strength on normal as well, so guard is going to be able to turn the rest of your team's strength into more, and that's just going to be way beneficial on defense and on offense actually. So although the wraiths have that stab, ignore stab, focus on using them as blitzers. And what do you do with blitzers? Block, guard, mighty blow. Fantastic. Doubles, dodge is going to be great, keeps them alive, and every now and again is going to help them with their mobility. Sidestep is also quite fun as well for the stab players, but that is way down the list, I think. And you've got the Banshees. Again, it sounds really boring, but they're your ball carriers, but they're not throwing because most of the people here can't catch. So actually block or dodge are 2 fantastic skills. Now, I love Edge 2+ play, Edge 4 players. Hey, I finally failed correctly. Edge 4 players love dodge. It just helps them stay mobile as you like, and it protects them. And this player here is going to get blocked every now and again, and it's always going to be 2 dice. Your strength 2, it doesn't matter. Even if you're playing goblins, they're going to find a way to get you on 2 dice. Dodge is going to massively help keep you alive. Block is going to do the same. Alright, so block or dodge are great. Dodge helps you be maneuverable. block helps you punch people back. It's up to you what you want to be doing with the Banshee, but I recommend dodge. Sure hands as well is not bad because you've got that edge 4, because you've got leap. You're going to be trying to retrieve the ball, and having that integral reroll to try and get the ball off the ground from where it's come out is going to be massively useful for you. I guess it makes sense to mention Pro. Pro's not quite as good in 2016, but actually a 4+ chance to reroll any dice is never a bad skill. So yeah, do definitely consider that. But I like this roster. You've got a bit of everything. If you are playing against the Ethereal Team though, it's really straightforward. Kill the Banshees, kill the Wraiths. I know they're undead, but that which is dead may still die. So kill them all, and your opponent can do absolutely nothing. If you want to see the Ethereal Team in action, I think we've got some footage of one of our FUMBBL tournaments where we've actually run, I think Milton ran the Ethereal Team online, somebody ran the Ethereal Team online. But also, Season 2 of 7 Super Series, we run the Ethereal Team on the tabletop in 7s, and it is great fun. I will put the picture of Milton's team here now, because it's absolutely gorgeous. He's done a great job using mixed players, and that's the team. Have a look at the episodes, you'll get a really good gauge of how the Ethereal Team plays. So we've already had a look at Milton's team, where he used human linemen as the spirit hosts. He used glaive wraith stalkers, the horse-faced guys for wraiths, and the Mermon Banshees as Banshees. Now, we've looked at the Mermon kit before as really good substitutes for wraiths in the necromantic team. They're lovely miniatures, they are cheap, it's like £10 for 4, they push fit, and they're cool. They're really, really cool miniatures. If you want to put an Ethereal Team together, that is probably the best way to do it. You get some linemen, you make them, and you paint them as ghosts, those are your spirit hosts, and then you can be creative with the Wraiths and the Banshees. Mermon Banshees though, come on, it's a no-brainer. These are fantastic miniatures. Alternatively, we've got the Chain Rasp kit up the top left there from Games Workshop. Now that's reasonably cheap as well. You get 10 ghosts, and that would be a great little force of spirit hosts. Again, I like the Grave Wraith Stalker guys to be your Wraiths, but if you want to use Games Workshop kits, you can put this team together really easily, paint it really easily, and you'll end up with something really cool. We saw Milton's, he did that for our Tombstone tournament and had a great time. Destroyed Ben's Were team that we're going to be looking at in a couple of weeks' time. Really destroyed them. Just outstrengthed them, murdered them, stabbed everybody. It was horrific. Poor Ben. He had a 1,000-yard stare. He was just sat downstairs in the cafe at Entoyment, like rocking backwards and forwards. Poor guy. And that's it. The Ethereal Team is so unique when it comes to just being able to spike really high. But this is the Games Workshop stuff. There are so many options out there. You need 3 different pieces. The Banshees need to look like Banshees, I think. But the Wraiths can look whatever you like. And so can the Spirit Hosts. It's a really unique team. It's a really cool team. And it's a bit of a modeller's delight. Because it's unique. You build it, you choose your pieces. But there's only 3 player types. And the paint job tends to be really straightforward. So massive fan of being able to model this team. So to wrap up on the Ethereal Team, I love it. It's one of the most unique teams out there. It's challenging. You've got the limit of no hands, but it's also really rewarding because you've got that titchy element. You can move wherever you like. You've got cool and really kind of individual positionals. Banshees, high edge, low strength. They run around, they do stuff. They've got hypnotic gaze. The Wraiths just stabbing stuff is really cool as well. So you can stack heavy on 4 stabbers. Strength 3 stabbers. Eventually they're going to get block and it's going to be great, and you're just going to line up and just murder stuff, and it's great fun. It is a really, really unique and thematic team, and this is another one of my picks. So we did the Squig team. Games Workshop are going to do that. The Ethereal Team I also think is on their list. They started at the Gretchen. They started to develop ghost players. They've got the Wraiths. They've gone with that element of how to make stuff feel like ghosts who've got no hands. I really do think that at some point Games Workshop are going to do a ghost team. And that's really exciting, because if it ends up like this, I will be chuffed, because this is not overpowered. It is not overpowered. I think it ranks as tier 1 in the win percentage, but hey, so do orcs. So orcs aren't overpowered, they fight. Ethereal Team fights. It is never an auto win, but it is always a challenge, and that's exactly what I love about Blood Bowl. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap up here. Thank you ever so much for watching Special Team Sunday. Hopefully this is inspiring a few of you to build some unique teams or to explore FUMBBL a bit, because, hey, more Blood Bowl is more better. Thanks for watching. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the show even further, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Or come and join us in our Patreon, link below, where you get early access to our content and monthly competitions. See you later.